Ukraine is unlikely to benefit from a blackout in Moscow, but a destroyed Kremlin could create an optimal picture. If it has a sufficient number of necessary long-range missiles, it would be possible to deal a devastating blow to the Crimean Bridge and, in doing so, effectively remove Vladimir Putin from power. This was stated by retired colonel and military expert Alexei Getman. During a chat on Glavred, he said that the blackout in the Russian capital would not have any significant effect. However, the destruction of the Kremlin would create the desired picture. This is pressure and emotional impact on the Russian population. A blackout in Moscow won't have much of an effect because there won't be any images. It's not like showing darkness. But images of the destroyed Kremlin would circulate widely across the media landscape. Therefore, the blackout will primarily affect Muscovites. Even residents of St. Petersburg won't react much. But they would react to images of the falling Ostankino Tower, Getman noted. According to the expert, Ukraine is capable of causing a blackout in Moscow even with its own domestically produced missiles. However, it would be better to target the Crimean Bridge, as this would knock the throne out from under Putin. Yes, we are capable. If we launch a massive strike on Moscow, for example, if we have long Neptunes, Flamingos, these are very good weapons, even better than the Tomahawk. They fly further than the American missile and carry twice as much explosive, and so on. If we have a large number of such missiles and we can carry out a large-scale attack on something symbolic for the Russians to paint a picture, a strike on an oil refinery doesn't paint a picture. For example, if the Kherson Bridge or something else symbolic is destroyed by our strike, that picture will go viral. This is what will knock the throne out from under Putin. Any dictator fears two things: appearing ridiculous and weak, because that would be a sign that they'll soon be overthrown. We're unlikely to succeed in making Putin look ridiculous because Russians have a peculiar sense of humor. But we can make him look weak by destroying something that will emotionally impact Russians, Alexei Getman emphasized. Earlier, former British Defense Secretary Ben Wallace stated that in order to force Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate a peace deal, Kiev needs the means to destroy the Kherson Bridge, making occupied Crimea uninhabitable. Speaking at the Warsaw Security Forum, Wallace said Crimea is sacred to Putin and that Western allies should supply Ukraine with long-range weapons to make the Russian occupation of the peninsula unsustainable. Russian propaganda inadvertently exposed the location of a military airfield housing light aircraft used to intercept Ukrainian drones, leading to a successful strike by Ukraine's security service that destroyed at least 2 Russian planes. Defense Express reported the information. Ukraine's security service, SBU, has released footage showing a precision drone strike on Russian light aircraft that Moscow had been deploying to counter Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles. The operation stands out for 2 remarkable reasons. The target was identified through Russian state television propaganda, and the aircraft designed to hunt drones were themselves destroyed by drones. The breakthrough came when Russian state TV aired a segment showcasing a unit of light aircraft tasked with intercepting Ukrainian UAVs. Despite not explicitly naming the location, the broadcast provided enough visual information for open-source intelligence analysts to geolocate the facility. Defense Express independently identified the site on October the 15th as Korsak Airfield, located near the village of Pryazovsk, approximately 12 miles southeast of occupied Melitopol. The airfield had recently undergone renovations. with Russia completing runway resurfacing in early September, a clear indication of Moscow's plans to utilize the facility for ongoing operations. Ukrainian forces conducted extensive surveillance of the target before launching the attack, identifying specific aircraft types being used by Russian forces. The strike, carried out by 2 Ukrainian attack drones and documented by a reconnaissance UAV, resulted in the destruction of at least 2 aircraft. One of the destroyed planes appears to be a Yak-52 trainer aircraft, possibly the same one featured in the Russian propaganda piece with the registration number RA1874G. The second aircraft was identified as a high-wing plane, likely a Cessna 172 that Russian forces had modified with a twin machine gun mount installed beneath the fuselage. Interestingly, footage from the Russian broadcast had shown these Cessna aircraft at a different, unidentified military airfield. The incident underscores the risks of operational security failures in modern warfare. Analysts were able to pinpoint the airfield's location using seemingly minor details visible in the broadcast, including terrain features, fresh asphalt, utility poles, and nearby settlements. Ukrainian military experts warn that Russian intelligence services employ similar open-source analysis techniques on Ukrainian military footage, emphasizing the need for careful information security on both sides of the conflict. Recently, Ukraine's security service announced that it had destroyed 2 Russian light aircraft used to intercept Ukrainian long-range drones. The SBU press center reported that the aircraft were located at Russian airfields in temporarily occupied territories. These planes had been deployed by Russian forces to target Ukrainian long-range unmanned aerial vehicles. Our specialists destroyed 2 light aircraft that the occupiers had stationed at airfields and used to shoot down Ukrainian long-range drones, the agency stated. The operation was conducted by the SBU's Center for Special Operations A. The service noted that such actions clear the way for Ukraine's long-range drone operations, ensuring what it described as uninterrupted strikes deep into Russian-controlled areas. The SBU continues to strike the occupiers by all available means. They will be held accountable for every crime, the statement added.